Okay, I'm just going to do a little sound check. How's it sounding at the back? Good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Other mic as well?
Do you mind just giving like a testing?
Can you hear me? Yes.
Perfect.
Awesome. I wish. Okay, hi everybody, and thank you so much for joining us at Lighthouse for the launch of Look, Don't Touch. I'm here with Layla and Francesca, the authors of the book, and I think it'd be a good place to start if you could introduce yourselves.
I don't think there's... Hello? There we go. I don't think there's too much more to add to that. I'm Layla. For layla-roxanne, my full name, I guess. I live in Glasgow. I'm co-author with Francesca of this book and also Black It Here, Black Lives in Scotland, and lots of associated work with that too. I mean, what do you want me to say? What do I enjoy? Rabbit holes we were talking about earlier on. Fitness, and one of my fitness comrades is here too, so that's really, really nice to see. Good food, just nice times, being in companionship and being in moments like with comrades who are in the liberation fight, and lions, and yeah, I mean I could go on and on and on and on. So I'm going to stop and just also say that I like being here with everyone tonight and appreciate you all coming out in quite a cold day too.
Hi everyone, I'm Francesca and co-author with Layla, who I love, and I enjoy good food with loved ones. I enjoy time spent wandering. I enjoy approaching each day with an openness to what it might involve, and I guess hoping for, I'm not going to say the best, but just hoping for moments of connection with folks and moments of more than just reflecting, but sort of like doing things together without that involving a pressure to do certain things in certain ways. I love writing poetry, I love music, I love all animals, and yeah, it's like lovely to be here together, and we're just hoping that if there's anything anybody wants to share or ask, you feel able to do that at any point in different ways. So thank you.
Thank you so much. You can tell that you're both facilitators and care very much about your relationship as well, which is really beautiful to see. Yes, as Francesca said, please ask questions at any point if you like. These are just questions I've thought of, but I know that there's many people who know your work and who will really enjoy the book, so if there's anything that comes to mind, just raise your hand. Should we jump straight in? So, I have my questions written here. First of all, how did you come up with the book title, Look, Don't Touch? And what were you hoping to communicate about emotional expression in our society today?
Maybe I know we've both spoken about good food and time spent with loved ones, but I feel as though that's partly where this came from. And it's not that there's ever been like a single moment, but one of the things that was part of this was us sitting in a like cafe, restaurant, bar space, while sort of speaking about different crises of many sorts, whether that is the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, whether that is thinking about the genocidal actions of different governments, and also just speaking about what it means to exist in public spaces where there are often things to create a sense of so-called homeliness, but there are also these messages that push back against the potential to connect with people physically, emotionally, in different ways. So I remember I was laughing about this list of drinks in this place, which had all these sort of funny names that were based on, I guess, like archetypes of how people could be emotionally or physically, and maybe like a robust and full-bodied something, and a bitter and salty something else, and that sort of just sparked, as is often the case, conversations about lots of things to do with life. And then I remember Layla saying, there's this call for proposals, and we've been thinking about these things, and it was really you that said, you know, why don't we like give this a go if that feels right. And we gave it a go, and here we are. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think even on the train over here, somebody who's also in the audience, I was just laughing at the amount of commands that you hear. You know, it's like, don't forget to take your luggage with you. If you see the usual, if you see something that doesn't look right, and what is that something that doesn't look right, or someone who doesn't look right? Make sure you have your ticket ready. You know, it's all these things that you're expected to do to at least give the impression or the illusion that you're a normal person just trying to exist normally and do normal things. So yeah, I think we've always just noticed these things, and I think as Francesca said, that during the pandemic that's sort of ongoing, there was a lot more commands about who you could see, what you could see, who you could touch, what you couldn't touch. And then, yeah, I guess it's how we speak about it in the book, it's like how that is then transferred or interconnected to a lot of things moving online. And if we are actually touched by things that we see online, or if we just move on to like the next thing, you know, we've looked and we haven't been touched emotionally or in a very deep way. Yeah, and feel free to jump in, as we say as well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed reading this book and was very lucky to be able to read it before publication. And there were so many moments, especially you talking about see it, say it, sorted, these kind of things, the images, you know, even like funny copy that's written in public spaces. Like I saw one on the train the other day that was like, say aye to free Wi-Fi. And yeah, I was, yeah, that person did their job there, yeah. But to create a sense of familiarity, and I'm going to really try not to put in my own personal anecdotes, but I did really relate to and you also feel free as well, if I get to do that. Okay, I will say that over the Christmas period, I did my first like Friendsmas, and it was with other people that were estranged from their families and feeling, you know, not in the Christmas spirit. And if we had difficult emotions that came up around family, we would say, see it, say it, sorted. Because, yeah, it's that thing of like, the person that's depicted in that poster is a racialized man, 100%, and is, yeah, meant to be seen as a brown man, like so clearly. And yeah, we just wanted to laugh about the fact that we were supposed to be normal and happy migrant young people, but instead we're heavily traumatized. Transport to London, yeah, call that number. I will do, actually. Yeah. Okay, I want to go on to the internet, and you speak a lot about self-help gurus in the book, self-help language. When you say people are doing okay, or, you know, if you ask somebody, how are you, and they say, I'm just okay, what do you think about that? What do you think about how superficial relationships might be, or is there space to deepen relationships online?
Yes, I guess I think it's maybe less about what it means when somebody says I'm doing okay, and maybe more about what we try to sort of think about in the book, whilst acknowledging that so many other people haven't been thinking about this and are thinking about this and have been doing really vital work around this, organising work and work that's not attached to any particular sort of institution, is the pressures that people face to act as though everything is okay, whatever that means, and the pressures to be perceived as okay or normal, and just sort of what it means in particular when we're thinking about the intersections of things such as racism and sexism and ableism, transphobia, colorism, and just the racial capitalist system, and whose perceived madness is treated as disruptive and a problem and as an individualised issue, as opposed to someone responding to the very real structural forms of harm and violence that they're faced with. So I think we certainly would never want to make a judgment in response to anybody who uses the language of being okay or feeling okay or not feeling okay. Instead, we try to write a bit about how can we name that pressure and push back against it, and also say, you know, nothing is okay. So like if we take that as the starting point, you know, what does it mean to then sort of make sure that we don't reinforce the pathologizing of people, and make sure we don't reinforce any illusion of okayness that can be part of, you know, political projects that, as we've spoken a bit about as part of an interview with Skinny, that push these sort of revisionist accounts of history to not only deny things that have happened before, but deny things that are happening right now. And I guess in the spirit of how we do acknowledge or engage with the language of okayness, we speak a lot about music in the book, including the music of My Chemical Romance and I'm Not Okay, and I guess sort of an appreciation of the ways that music can be part of how people express and feel, whether that's music with words or whether it's music without words, and how that can be part of how we move beyond these ideas of okayness.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally respect that. So yeah, you speak about music, and I really want to touch on that. There's so many genres that you reference in the book. Are these genres that you were already familiar with? Did you have to do is there like a research playlist out there for this book, basically? And how did you incorporate what the music made you feel in your writing?
I'm really self-conscious up in this. I can't reach the ground. I can't reach the ground. No, there's not a research playlist at all. It's just that we've both been brought up with music. My dad, I'm forever grateful to his sort of encyclopedic knowledge of music, and that was massively influential to me, at least. And also just being one of those young kids who went to gigs every weekend, more or less, and up into my 20s, you know, it was just gigs. So I think there's nothing and everything in terms of genre. We did try to match some songs up to some of the topics that we were talking about. That's why you will see like maybe a lot of things that say like okay or I'm not okay. Apartheid is Nazism, you know, when we're talking about certain things. So yeah, like there's no research. I think we're just this song, and then sending each other links to songs and maybe some things that we'd been to gigs to together, or yeah, like there's no research. It was just very fortunate to have just music is life in so many different ways, but also it can be harmful, you know, in different ways. So yeah, I think just it was as it was. It was never going to be something that massively shaped the book, but also at the same time it was never not going to be part of it. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking yesterday reading about Roberta Flack and thinking about Killing Me Softly with his song, and what that song is about, or what that song can make you feel, or make what the feelings that it can bring to the foreground for different people in different ways, and how that's not just about the lyrics but about who sings that song and how it's sung. And yeah, I think it's just like what Layla was saying, like there's no like research playlist. We have a playlist that we share about in the book, and it's reflective of different feelings, different pieces of music, different songs that are part of our lives, and yeah, if that resonates with people, that's lovely, but we also know that music is felt in different ways for different folks, or isn't felt in different ways for different folks, and that's alright as well. But one of the things we do speak a bit about is the relationship between blackness and gender and metal music, especially sort of new metal, which has been spoken about as having a resurgence or a moment right now. And we think about black women as part of all that, and how they have been both engaged with and erased as part of how nu metal is positioned, alongside the depiction of vampires in films and TV as part of that too. So just to give you a sense of like the chaotic thinking there. But when we talk about the idea of like being a baddie, right now, like what does it mean when we see that term being used to describe the music of many people who certainly aren't black folks, and many people who have drawn on the work and creativity of black women whilst often dismissing them at the same time.
Yeah, I think just in addition to that, we then speak a little bit about Charlie XCX's whole marketing strategy around bra, and how much like that has influenced online trends, offline trends. So yeah, it's a encyclopedic, hopefully, and people will enjoy it or not enjoy it. But there's no specific genre. But we'd maybe just say overall, it is emo. It is emotional, because each song or track means something to us in some sort of way.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that you speak about this was part of your history.